We start, though, with some significant breaking news. The 4 times world super middleweight champion Carl Froch has retired from boxing. In an exclusive interview, the 38-year-old has told us that he has nothing left to prove and that his legacy speaks for itself. He'll now join the Sky Sports boxing team. We'll have more on that for you in just a moment. First, though, we can hear him explaining how he's lost his desire and how he's no longer the fighting machine that he needs to be to enter the ring again.
This is officially the retirement, yeah. I'm retiring, and I've always said if I retire, I won't come back, because I think it's dangerous to think about potentially coming back for a big fight when you've announced retirement. And it's annoying for me as a boxing fan, as well as a competitive boxer, you know, in the sport, just as from a fan's point of view, to see people retire and then always change his mind, he's come back out of retirement. It sort of takes the validity away from it, and you know, you've got to be taken seriously in this world. I'm going from the boxing world, and other doors for me are opening. And I want people to just take me seriously and say, you know what, he's made a decision. I believe him, and he's going to stand by that decision. If I wanted to fight again physically, I could. But mentally, I don't think it's there anymore. I really don't. I think the desire has well and truly gone. And I think when the desire's gone, you've got to just say to yourself, you've got to be honest and say, that's it. I've fought anybody who's anyone who's been put in front of me, mandatory challenges, and you can't talk about Leighton and James DeGale, because I've faced my mandatories so many times. George Groves 1, George Groves 2, and then where does it end? You know, I've already made a decision following the Groves rematch that, you know what, I'm probably not going to fight again, but let's just see what happens. And the Vegas fight that I so badly craved nearly came off with Chavez, but didn't. But what I've realised is, after talking about all these options, is that there's always going to be options. It's never going to stop. Callum Smith's coming through. You know, there's kids in America now that are unbeaten in 19 fights, tall southpaws. There's always going to be somebody, always next in line or ready to try and take my scalp. And if that's never going to go away, at what point do I say, right, now's the time to retire, based on challenges and opponents? You can't wait for that. It's got to be from within here. And as much as it hurts and as hard as it is for me, and it really is hard, and even making the decision to retire and saying it's been a year, it's too long, the fighting machine's gone, you know, it's not going to come back, it's still hard. The last thing that I think about when my head hits the pillow is boxing. And when I wake up in the morning and I look at my phone to see what time it is, and I think it's 6:30 or 7 o'clock, should I be running? Should I be going on a run? Where's my trainers? And it's a lifestyle, it's a way of life, and it's a mindset. And I think I'll always have that. And I think I'll always be itching for the big fight. There's no greater feeling for me than standing victorious in the arena. And I'm never going to get that again now. And I don't know where I'm going to get that feeling from. I don't know where it's going to come. Maybe it's not. And that's what, for me, I'm turning my back on, and that's what's going to be difficult to do. But there comes a time in every man's career when he's got to say, that's it, enough's enough. I think Mickey said it to Rocky Balboa in one of the Rocky films. He said to him, you become human, you become soft. You know, I feel civilised now. I feel like the Carl Froch, the fighting machine, he's still in there. You know, the fire's still in the belly, but it's been too long. I just feel like that fighting machine that I love so much, that I need to be to compete at top level. I feel like it's been put away for too long, and I just don't know if I can get hold of him again and go one more time. I really don't think I could.
So there it is. Froch has retired after 35 fights. He won 33 of those, with 24 via knockout. He only lost twice in his professional career and was never knocked out. So in total, he won 4 world titles, the WBC super middleweight title twice, as well as the IBF and WBA super middleweight titles.
After a glittering career, Carl Froch's unforgettable win over George Groves was to be his last taste of action in the ring. His professional career started in 2002. Joe Calzaghe's retirement in 2009 left British boxing without a world star at super middleweight level. But wins over Jermaine Taylor and Andre Durrell earned him recognition to the United States boxing public. He only suffered defeat twice in his career, both on points, Mikhail Kessler in 2010 and Andre Ward a year later. Froch was determined to fight the very best the super middleweight division had to offer. And in front of a packed crowd in his hometown of Nottingham, a stunning display saw him beat the undefeated Lucien Butte, much to the delight of his promoter and good friend Eddie Hearn.
It's over! Carl Froch, once, twice, 3 times a champion, still the Sheriff of Nottingham.
After a comfortable win over Yusuf Mack, the boxing world wanted to see a rematch with Kessler. And they were granted their wish, as both fighters produced yet another classic. The decision this time going to Froch. Talk of a third fight decided was quickly dismissed after Froch eventually accepted George Groves' challenge to fight him. Froch accused Groves of disrespect, but very few predicted what was to come in the first round.
Froch on the floor for only the second time, and this place has just become electrified.
Froch battled his way back to retain his WBA and IBF super middleweight titles with a controversial 9th round stoppage.
Groves is in trouble. He's taken another one and another, and Howard Foster has stopped it. Wow!
Eddie, maybe we'll get the rematch. We'll sort it out somewhere else.
Both agreed on the rematch. Wembley was to be the destination as the rivalry continued to intensify. The rematch was one of the most anticipated in British boxing history.
He's had the feel all week of being a seriously big-time sports occasion.
Some smart jabs gave Groves an early advantage in round 1, but a huge right hand from Froch in the 8th eliminated any doubt in the contest.
Wow! Right hand has destroyed Groves. It's waved off already. Charlie Fish saw enough.
The British record crowd of over 80,000 witnessed one of the great knockouts, and that was to be the last punch he threw in his career.
Champion of the world, Carl the Cobra Froch!
Michael Bridge, Sky Sports.
I've got no regrets. I'm not retiring undefeated, but in many ways that's better because I've boxed everybody. I've faced every challenge. You know, so many athletes, not just boxers, athletes don't get their defining moment. I've probably had 7 or 8 defining moments, but the biggest and best was on the platform of Wembley Stadium in front of 80,000 fans. It was amazing, and to get that defining moment for me is just enough. It's enough.
He has a lot to offer the sport. You know, he's been a wonderful ambassador all over the world for British boxing. I think he should be celebrated for that fact. He's never conducted himself in a bad way. He's always tried to be a positive role model, and I feel he can give back a lot to British boxing, and he's given a lot as well. But I think, you know, you should remember Carl Froch for the fighter that he is, someone that never ducked anyone, someone that gave you the paying public value for money every single day of the week. And you know, I've learnt a lot being around him. He's an inspirational guy, and again, he's not someone that's come from the Olympic background and he's been given this platform to go out. He's grafted for every single penny, every bit of success he's ever had, and for that you have to give him ultimate respect.
So what's next? Well, Froch will now bring his experience that he's gained over his career to provide expert analysis as part of the Sky Sports boxing team. He'll also work with the Sky Academy, which looks to unlock the potential in young people. And Froch can't wait to begin the next challenge of his career.
Sky Sports really is the home of boxing. All the big fights that go on, they go on Sky Sports. You know, we cover the best of the best. I can't think of any better way than sort of living the life as a boxer, or seeing and being around fighters, seeing the hard work and the training they put in, and then being there on fight night, than actually coming along with Sky Sports and giving my opinion on my friends, and most of these guys are my friends' fights. You know, to be part of their journey now, and to go along to these big, fantastic shows that I'm going to be going to over the next so many years. I'm just really, really excited and looking forward to it, and I will get a feed there. I mean, we talked about, it's actually a good point you're making about adrenaline earlier, where we get adrenaline buzz from. I actually get nervous at these fights. We talked earlier, so maybe that's it. Maybe that's why I'm so excited. I turn up to the weigh-ins and I see Big Josh stood there, and Johnson's whispering in his ear and tapping his chest and asking him questions. And I'm getting wound up. I'm getting adrenaline. I'm thinking, don't hit him, Josh. Don't push him. Just keep cool. And I'm feeling that emotion of fighting. And then, you know, when he boxes, I'm sitting there and I'm taking every punch with him, and I'm wishing him well because, you know, he's my friend. I train with him, and Luke Campbell, the same. I've been around him for years, and Kell Brook as well. I mean, there's all the fighters, from all the top-level fighters, from the amateurs and the top pros now, Tony Bellew, the list goes on. I want to be part of their journey, and now for me this is the perfect way to do that. I admire every fighter at every level, I really do, and I'll give criticism where criticism is needed, and quite often it is needed, but I'll give praise where it's due. And boxing is the hardest sport in the world as far as I'm concerned, and you know, these kids that are doing it at top level, they deserve their props and deserve to be praised by somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Well, Froch has already been part of the Sky Sports team for several big fights, and it seems he's fitting in pretty well.
To me, in a big clash, like you talked about Wembley Stadium, I mean, Wembley Stadium fights don't happen that often. I boxed there, I don't know if you know. Did you? But anyway, that would be.
How many people?
That would potentially be.
How many people were there?
Be quiet, be quiet.
Joining me, Sky's boxing man, Adam Smith. Adam, quite a signing this, Carl Froch.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've just seen him there, Wembley, his last fight. Fitting way for him to bow out, do you think?
I think the perfect way to go. I think it's absolutely the right time. He's just turned 38. He's had time to think since that amazing night in front of, what was it, 80,000 people, Mike?
Apparently so.
Absolutely. Well, listen, at least he can laugh at himself a bit about that. But it was a fantastic finale, wasn't it? I think he wanted the fight in Las Vegas against Chavez Jr. It didn't come off. And I think as every sort of week has ticked by, it's been less and less likely that he'll fight again. I'm really pleased that he's made this decision. I think he's got nothing left to prove. He was fantastic in the Super Six, you know, coming back, winning those world titles again. The wonderful night against Lucian Bute in Nottingham, which was fabulous. The fights against Mikhail Kessler, the double against George Groves, that amazing narrative. I think this is the ideal time, and I think it's so tough in boxing to make that call. Recently, Lennox Lewis, Joe Calzaghe have got it right. You know, Lennox Lewis knew in that tough fight against Vitaly Klitschko that, you know, it was probably the time that the younger generation, the Klitschkos, were coming through. That was the perfect call. Joe Calzaghe, 46 fights, undefeated. Sort of knew, I think, against Hopkins and Roy Jones when he was knocked down early in those fights that maybe the skills are just starting to slip slightly. Go out on top, perfect way. Neither Lennox fought again, neither Joe fought again, and Carl won't either. And I'm really, really pleased he's made this decision. It's a tough, tough call, isn't it? Everyone wanted to see him fight Gennady Golovkin and others. The super middleweight division is absolutely thriving. But he's got nothing left to prove, and I think it's terrific that he's now coming our side of the ropes, and I think he'll be a terrific ingredient to the team, alongside Jim Watt, Glenn McCrory, and Johnny Nelson.
Yeah, he certainly will. I'm interested in your take on it, that you think it's the right decision. It's clearly been a difficult one for him to make.
Sure.
Why do you think he made it? I mean, he said, didn't he, that, you know, the fighting machine isn't there. Do you think he could have gone on?
I think he could have got on, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people wanted to see him fight Golovkin, the big puncher, and it would have been a wonderful mesh of styles. There's James DeGale, of course, who's just become a world champion. You know, you've got George Groves fighting Badu Jack. You know, they could have fought again, possibly. There's other big fights. Andre Ward, people wanted to see that again. But I think, you know, it's tough. I mean, there's always fights out there, isn't there? You know, he's 38 now. He's got a young family, third baby on the way. He's a bright guy, Carl, as well. And I just don't think he's got anything left to prove anybody. You know, he's gone out to America. He's fought the likes of, you know, Jermaine Taylor back in the day. What a win that was, coming from the knockdown and stopping him right at the end. You know, he's fought the Durrells, the Wards, the Kesslers, the Arthur Abrahams. You know, what else is left? I think that little tick in the box of Vegas would have been nice. I think he really wanted that to happen against Chavez Jr., and I think he would have beaten him. But it didn't, you know, politics in the sport and injuries as well were catching up with him. And I think, I mean, I had a chat with him, actually, quite a deep chat with him after the first Groves fight, because, of course, that was a real humdinger, you know, and did he want to go even through that again? I know his body was sort of aching, and he had to sort of question himself whether he wanted to. He sat down with Rob McCracken and thought, no, you know, it was a controversial finish. Let's get it done again. He put his body through the mill again. He did it. Perfect way to go out.
Yeah, indeed. All right, you know this is coming. It's a tough one. We've had some great British fighters at super middleweight. Ben, Eubank, Collins, Calzaghe. Where's he rank?
He's right up there. He's absolutely right up there. I mean, there's always going to be Woody have beaten Joe Calzaghe. You know, I know there's no love lost between the two. Hopefully now in retirement they can get on and they can look back and they can enjoy their careers together. Look, you know, it's very difficult, sort of, you know, when you're looking at different generations. You know, would Floyd Mayweather have beaten Sugar Ray Leonard? Probably not, but maybe he would have done. You just don't know. And I think that's the mythical, you know, matches that you like to think. You know, Marciano and Tyson, all those sort of fights. But I think with Carl, I think, you know, it was a great era of Eubank, Ben, Steve Collins, Joe Calzaghe. I think Calzaghe was a wonderful fighter. I think Carl Froch, you know, look at him. Look at what he's done. You know, he's gone. He's proved everyone wrong time and time again. He's taken on the best. He's showed a granite chin, a warrior's heart. And he's always told me, you know where he should fight? He should fight on the cobbles. That's what Carl's all about, you know. He's a real fighter to the core. Did he have the skills of a Joe Calzaghe? Maybe not. But did he have the chin like a Eubank? Yes. Nigel Benn's ferocity. That would have been a great fight, wouldn't it? Ben against Froch. He's right up there. He's part of that. He's a British boxing legend, and let's enjoy his retirement. And I think as he comes over to the Sky Sports team and joins Jim and Glenn and Johnny and the guys, I think he's going to be a terrific, have that insight for someone that's sort of gone through all the levels from a good amateur to sort of British Commonwealth champion to winning the world title, losing, of course, he had the defeats to Kessler, to Andre Ward, coming back, and obviously the George Groves story at the end. I think it's been a very enjoyable career, and we should look back with pride.
We absolutely will. Adam, thank you very much for getting up early and coming in. I noticed Johnny didn't make it with you. No surprise there. Well, the next offering of live boxing on Sky Sports is on Saturday night. Scott Quigg will defend his WBA Super Bantamweight title, and Anthony Crolla challenges for the WBA Lightweight title just 7 months after fracturing his skull and breaking his ankle when he was attacked by burglars. Coverage starts at 7, and Adam's just told me that our new signing will be involved.
It certainly will be, yeah.
Looking forward to that. Adam, thank you. Pleasure. The breaking news this morning, the 4 times world super middleweight champion Carl Froch has retired from boxing. In an exclusive interview, he's told us that he has nothing left to prove and that his legacy speaks for itself. He'll now join the Sky Sports boxing team. Well, Froch has been looking back at his career and says his rivalry with that man, George Groves, was career-defining.
We've got the George Groves saga. Groves won in Manchester. Such a hard fight, such a great fight for the fans, for George, for me. We all did ourselves really, really proud. And you could not have wrote the script for what happened in that fight any more perfectly, you know, for the Wembley foil. You just couldn't write the script any better. It's just amazing how these things happen to set up the biggest rematch in British boxing post-war. And people wanted a full stop now at the end of the sentence or the end of the book. They wanted to say, that's it now, it's finished. And that's what we got. But that's what made Wembley so exciting, the build-up to finding out what is going to happen. It's 80,000 people viewing in a massive stadium for boxing, which is pretty much unheard of. It has been unheard of post-war. But to also be on that platform that's not only boxing fans watching, but also has crossed over to the mainstream, the armchair fan, or the non-boxing fan, talking about boxing and watching boxing and getting involved. So to transcend the sport over to a whole new audience, for me, on that platform, and then to finish it in the way in which I finished in such a conclusive manner, so satisfying. I've got to say that is my defining moment.
All that nastiness, now you might have to commentate on George and shake his hand plenty of times on and off the set. And you're just going to get on with that, or you're going to, there's still always going to be that rivalry?
I won't find it hard, because you know what, there will always be a bit of rivalry in the terms of characters and personalities. Certain personalities do not get on with personalities, and George Groves is never going to be my best friend. I'm not even sure if he'll ever be my friend.
So it seems the Froch-Groves rivalry will continue, even though Froch is now retired. It wasn't just in the ring where they traded blows. There were plenty of verbal exchanges over the years as well.
I'm going to come out, I'm going to meet you, centre of the ring, first round, and I'm going to win the jab exchanges, and I'm going to hit you with 2 right hands. Just 2, just to let you know, whenever I want, I can hit you with a right hand.
He's going to come to the centre of the ring, and he's going to hit me with 2, was it 2 right hands?
Yes,
so the first one's not going to do any damage, so he's going to hit me with another one. I'm going to sit there and let him do that. So, you know, stupendous again from George Groves. Over to you.
I had it taken away from me tonight, unjustly. But I'll be back. I'll be back fitter and stronger. Eddie needs to make this happen.
Eddie, maybe we'll get the rematch. We'll sort it out somewhere else.
Oh, hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
Have a good look at these belts, because it's as close as you get into a Saturday night, you're getting absolutely flattened.
He's going to cry. Adam, is he going to cry? Are you okay?
What's happening right
Are you
now?
all right? What's happening? Don't go,
happening right
don't. Eddie's sitting here. He's sitting here, but he can't help you.
Eddie, have a word with your boy.
There's no better job for me and more satisfying job for me to do other than give George Groves a pasting. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I just hope the referee doesn't jump in early. And I also hope I don't knock Groves out too early.
Congratulations to Carl. Fair play. You know, he got the punch, and I congratulate him. I hope he wish him all the best.
Well, you will not want to miss this. George Groves will give us his thoughts on his rival's retirement at around 9 o'clock this morning. Can't wait for that. Plenty more reaction to the retirement on Sky Sports News HQ throughout the day, of course. We'll hear from the former world champion Ricky Hatton from about 1. And a man who inflicted one of just 2 professional losses in Froch's career, Andre Ward, will give us his thoughts at 6:30 this evening.
Well, it's still pretty early, but we are getting a little bit of reaction on social media to the big breaking news this morning. And we've got a picture for you from Matchroom Boxing, who've posted that on Twitter, simply saying farewell to a legend. And more reaction as well from famous MC John McDonald, who's also tweeted. He says, a massive thank you to the Cobra. Nothing to prove. See you on the road, champ. And we'll keep you posted with all the reaction as it comes in.